The cake was still untouched. Frosting pristine, laughter thick in the air. She stood center stage, fingers wrapped around a glass of overpriced red wine, surrounded by people who didn't love her, just hovered, waiting for the will to be written. I stayed behind the velvet drapes, holding a box wrapped in silver, still and quiet. She was basking in it. The attention, the spotlight, the artificial warmth of shallow friendships. She knew they were watching her, and she fed off it. Then, with a voice dipped in sugar and poison, she said it loud enough for the room to hear. "Congratulations to me. We're done." The laughter that followed wasn't joy. It was rehearsed, obligatory, the sound people make when they think cruelty is a kind of charisma. She believed she'd landed the final blow, that I was caught off guard, that I hadn't seen behind the curtain. She had no idea. I walked forward, calm, unshaken, placed the box in her hands. Her smile faltered just slightly. The wrong kind of calm always confuses a predator. I leaned in, whispered just loud enough. "Tell your parents why their house and cars are gone in 9 minutes, and why your company will be bankrupt in 1 hour." Then I turned and walked away. I didn't have to look back to know what came next. The stillness that always arrives just before the wreckage. Then the scream. It always starts with silence. But really, it had started months before with a receipt, tucked deep in a wallet she barely used. 1 hotel, 2 cities away. 1 night, her maiden name. I didn't confront her. I don't shout. I observe. I wait. The next clue, a text, from someone saved only as initials. "Last night, still thinking about you." She smiled across the table that night, touched my hand like nothing was broken. I stayed quiet. Patience always get a fuller confession than anger ever could. Then the perfume changed. The work hours stretched. Her laugh stopped landing in our house and started living somewhere else. But what really cut wasn't the cheating. It was a show. The audacity of her pretending I wouldn't notice, that I was too dim, too tame, too hers to see. I hired a private investigator, not a cheap one, the kind who delivers ruin, not rumors. He came back with more than I expected. It wasn't one man. It was several. She wasn't looking for love. She was feeding an addiction to attention and power. She lied with grace, said she had a charity gala. I watched from across the street as she drove a rental to a private villa. I didn't follow. I didn't need to. I had everything already. The emails, the bank transfers, voice recordings. But the worst? A message to her lawyer. Push the divorce until after my birthday. I want this estate. He won't see it coming. She was building a plan to dismantle me, emotionally, financially, and all the while, I was building my own. I moved the money, altered the wills. Her company, the one she didn't build but inherited, I made sure it sat quietly on a financial fault line, 1 late payment from collapse. All I needed was her to strike the match. The night before her birthday, I watched her sleep, her face soft, dreaming of a future she thought she had secured. I wonder if she ever loved me, the real me, the one who stayed through quiet days, not the curated version she used to impress her crowd. But the answer didn't matter. She never loved me. She loved the image, the lifestyle, the reflection of herself she saw through my success. The next morning, I sealed everything, photos, statements, messages, into an envelope, wrapped the termination papers inside the silver box. A single document, title, Termination of Trust, signed, sealed, and made irrevocable. At the party, I handed it to her like a gift. Timed the phone calls, one to her parents' bank, one to her company's CFO. Walked away as she opened the lid. At minute 9, the unraveling began. Her father's voice cracked through the music. A glass shattered. The pianist stopped playing. I didn't turn around. One of her friends caught up to me in the hallway. Heels clicking, breath sharp. "What did you do to her?" I smiled just enough. She did it to herself. And I stepped into the night air, free. Sat in the back of the car as the skyline passed by, feeling nothing but quiet. No hate, no sorrow. Just the kind of stillness you feel when you've walked away from a house on fire and you finally realize You didn't need anything inside. They say revenge is best served cold. They're wrong. It's best served calm, measured, with strategy. And one final truth. She never saw it coming, because she never thought I could let her go.